And another thing about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that really, surpassed my expectations was, Matthew Lillard going back to his roots with, the slasher movie sort of, roots that he's coming from. They, do a Scream reference with, the knife, how he does that in the first movie. He does that, but as the Purple Man.
Wow, and he only used 5% of his power for it.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
Zoinks, man, I always come back!
Zoinks, Scoob, welcome to Disasterpiece Publishing House.
Yeah, this is a show where we explore the Wild West of the internet. Dramatic readings included.
And we're at it. We're in Elder Scrolls November, Scrollsvember.
We're in Scrollsvember, but I'm already looking forward to FNAF February. FNAF February.
We can't. I know nothing about Five Nights at Freddy's. I know very little.
Look, has that stopped you from reading about Sonic?
No, I guess not. That's
Sonic,
a good point.
Five Nights at Freddy's is just kind of like modern Sonic.
We got to talk about Elder Scrolls.
Don't go watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Wait till it comes out on DVD. Pirate it.
Yeah.
I saw it for free. I didn't give Scott Cawthon any money.
Yeah. So that all being said, Elder Scrolls theme month, Scrollsvember. We're going to be starting with the Lusty Argonian Maid because we're legally obligated to if we're going to be talking about Elder Scrolls books. But I wanted to juxtapose it with the Sultry Argonian Bard, which in my opinion is a little more interesting and far more self-indulgent on the author's part. And of course, we have our resident furry expert.
I've been swimming in these waters when you was just a glimmer in your daddy's eye, kid.
Yeah, so to give a bit of background on these books, they're very well known in the Elder Scrolls fandom because they've got a lot of humorous innuendos in them. There are some people that absolutely hate these books, and they're valid. Personally, I think the Sultry Argonian Bard is funnier, but essentially, the Lusty Argonian Maid, that was introduced to the game, I want to say back in Morrowind, introduced to the series in Morrowind. And then I think Skyrim is when the Sultry Argonian Bard was introduced as a direct, gender bend of the Lusty Argonian Maid. The Lusty Argonian Maid is written by a fictional author, Crassius Curio, who is, I believe, a character in Morrowind. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, that's just a little bit of background on these.
See, I'm scared. Okay, I feel like I was too quick to say yes to this theme month because I forget that these are the waters that you swim in.
Yeah.
You have, the Elder Scrolls fandom brain rot, too.
Yeah, I've had it for many, many years, but I'm more into Skyrim than anything else. I tried to get into Morrowind, and I just couldn't do it. The combat sucks. I don't want to read all that text. I can never tell where I'm going. Come at me, Morrow Boomers. It's not a great game.
Oblivion is cool because it's got Sir Patrick Stewart in it, and he dies, almost immediately.
Yeah, and the quest writing is a lot better in Oblivion, too. It's also got Sean Bean in it.
I also think Dagoth Ur is a way cooler, interesting, conceptual villain than Alduin. Because what's Alduin's whole shit? It's just grr, I am big evil dragon. I am all four horsemen of the apocalypse, but I yell.
Not necessarily. He's a rebirth of Akatosh, which is the god of creation. So there's this creation-destruction dichotomy. I'm not a lore beard, though, so don't quote. Again, that's the thing about Elder Scrolls is that there's so much lore that you can really only specialize in one area of it unless you have no life and a jillion years of time on your hands. So the lore that I'm the expert in is Nightingale and Thieves Guild lore. Anything past that, I guess, is as good as yours.
Dev, I need you to redub what you just said there with, unless you have lots of love and dedication.
Right. I'm sorry, I don't get that joke.
No, you just... we're actively courting the Elder Scrolls fandom. I really don't want to put the energy out there that to know a lot about it, you have to have no life. Because what are we doing now? We're reading the Lusty Argonian Maid on a podcast.
Fair. I mean, okay, yeah.
Sliding scale.
Yeah, well, I mean... I wanted to do this, since before we started the podcast. I wanted to read some of the Elder Scrolls books. I had wanted to do the real Baron Zaya, but I don't think that's going to be great for an audio format. So I might as well announce this now. I'm going to be doing some bonus content for the holidays because we're going to take a break for the holidays. I'm going to be doing a bonus kind of separate thing where I talk about other things that I've read. I'm going to talk about the real Baron Zaya. I'm going to talk about ongoing projects for this show. I'm going to be reading more of the John Brown Isekai, more of Sad Blart. We've got some updates on Sad Blart too. It's like updating again. There's even a trailer for it that features Joan's voice. So
yeah, we have to get back on topic though.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Horny furry shit. That is dumb and silly.
Very honestly, it's funnier than I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How did I describe it before we started the show? The Lusty Argonian Maid is Skyrim's equivalent of that 30 seconds in a 70s porn when the blonde MILF doesn't know how to pay the pizza guy.
Yeah, like
before the fucking.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just did somebody order the extra large sausage? I left my wallet at the dildo store. How are we gonna do this? I could think of something, ma'am.
Oh, gosh.
You know, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a cowboy. Yeehaw.
Yeah, it's essentially the fantasy version of that. To give some context, by the way, the reason we're saying furry shit, for anybody who's like not an Elder Scrolls fan, Argonians are a race of, they're a fantasy race in the game of people that are like lizard people. They're essentially scalies, really. In the broad scope of, there are a lot of lizard people fantasy races that are just kind of ugly to look at. I would put the Argonians at the bottom of the list. They are the grossest, most unfuckable of the scaly people, which makes this funnier to me. I will say they look a lot better in Skyrim than they do in earlier Elder Scrolls games.
Hey, I'm talking about Skyrim.
No, I'm not saying that Skyrim's a rank-ass game. It's any of the characters that people are horny for, even those are an acquired taste.
I was about to say, like, if you're horny for Skyrim characters, you either also get horny for book characters, which based, or you have the sex mods enabled, in which case, man,
thanks for calling me based, because I'm sorry, but I'm a Brynjolf fan. I know that's so basic. But
look, I just know the kind of horny that you are, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. I will say we have some unexpected guests on this episode. The folks on the roof are joining us today, and it's the only day we can record, so you get to enjoy this with us. So, thanks.
I wish I had something funny to say about it. I just fucking hate these guys, and they do this a lot, and I kind of wish that my roof was covered in explosive tar that exploded when you stepped on it.
Oh god, isn't that the dream?
Hey, it's been almost 10 fucking minutes. Let's
read the Lusty Argonian Maid.
All right.
So we're starting with volume 1. There's 2 volumes of it. They're pretty short.
All right. So are we just gonna do it like I read one, then you read the next?
Sure. Do you want to be the Argonian Maid, or do you?
The Argonian Maid's name is Lifts Her Tail.
Yeah. The guy in this, his name is Crantius Colto, which looks to be a bastardized version of Crassius Curio, which is the author.
Dude's based as hell.
Yeah, I want to say this is Act 4, Scene 3, so there's 4 acts of this.
Yeah.
Certainly not, Counselor. I am here but to clean your chambers.
Is that all you have come here for, little one? My chambers?
I have no idea what it is you imply, Master. I'm but a poor Argonian maid.
So you are, my dumpling, and a good one at that. Such strong legs and shapely tail.
You embarrass me, sir.
Fear not, you are safe here with me.
I must finish my cleaning, sir. The mistress will have my head if I do not.
Cleaning, eh? I have something for you. Here, polish my spear.
But it is huge. It could take me all night.
Plenty of time, my sweet. Plenty of time. End of Act 4, Scene 3.
I don't like what this portends for the growing dev ASMR community.
Yeah. I've been told that I have an ASMR voice, and I've also been told that the Never King Part 2 episode is something of a cognitive hazard for that reason. Anyway, do you want to read Volume 2?
Yeah, let's get to Volume 2.
Alright. Act 7, Scene 2, continued.
My goodness, that's quite a loaf. But however shall it fit in my oven?
This loaf isn't ready for baking, my sweet. It has yet to rise.
If only we could hurry that along. How would I accomplish such a task?
Oh, my foolish little Argonian maid, you must use your hands.
But it's so full of yeast.
No, that was improvised. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's not...
You gotta make your own fun here.
Yeah.
You wish me to knead the loaf? Here?
In public. Sorry.
But there are so many people watching. And you've got that camera. Are you sure no one's going to recognize me wearing the Porky Pig mask?
Of course. Bringing it back around to the canon content.
But what if the mistress catches me? Your loaf was meant to satisfy her appetite.
Well, then she can sit in the cock chair.
Hold on. I just want to say, what a terrible metaphor this is.
Yeah.
At least the other one is like, hey, my dick's a spear, touch it. This one's like,
need my dick.
Hey, yo, punch my dick and bake it.
Yeah. Put a rolling pin over it.
I've always thought of, like, a loaf to mean, like, in the sex metaphor, meaning a baby.
Oh.
Like, you put a bun in the oven, the bread in said metaphor is baby.
Yeah.
So.
Just, my
I'm
thought,
just imagining this dude, like, sitting back with, like, a porcelain baby doll for a dick. Like,
Yeah.
hey, baby.
I just imagine her putting a rolling pin over it, like cock and ball torture.
Alright, time to find this motherfucker!
We were so close to the end. Where were we? Oh yeah.
We have to pad this a little bit. These are really short.
Yeah, these are short. But we're going to compare it to the Sultry Argonian Bard in a second. Don't fret, my delicate flower. I'll satisfy the mistress's cravings later.
Very well. But I'm afraid my oven isn't hot enough. It could take hours.
Plenty of time, my sweet, plenty of time.
Oh, that's his catchphrase.
Yeah, that's his thing. So, like, obviously this is self-indulgent. It's wild to me that this play has 7 acts, because that's a long fucking play. How do you keep up that level of tension?
Yeah, I think that's the joke, right? Is to be like, wow, this scene has overstayed its welcome.
Yeah, and nobody's ever going to do this play anyway, so it's just a guy being self-indulgent, really.
And look, no one's going to get fucked either.
No.
Like, this dude has never seen a penis. He's never seen a vagina. He doesn't know how the sexo baby may go.
You don't think Crash's Curio fucks?
No. I've seen enough pornography to know when it's made by people who fuck and people who don't.
I think maybe it was written by a Bethesda writer who doesn't fuck, but Crash's Curio.
No.
He fucks.
No. I mean, no, the Bethesda writer fucks. Crash's Curio does not fuck.
Okay.
That's where I'm coming. Crash's Curio does not fuck.
Okay, I'm 100% behind that take. I don't think he does either.
Here's the thing. I do not want to... Most game devs are, like, grumpy married people with a couple of kids. I don't know how they fuck, but they have physical evidence that they do fuck, so...
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Whereas Crash's Curio...
is a
I don't
video
know
game
if he has
character.
kids.
Yeah. I don't know if he does either. I don't think that's... I've seen him in Morrowind, and it's underwhelming.
There should have been a quest where if you are Argonian, he just immediately comes his pants and gives you $1,000.
Yeah.
I think that would have made that game playable.
Yeah, what was it? I made a joke on one of my gimmick accounts that was like, the Lusty Argonian Maid isn't scaly porn, it's interracial porn, you fucking bigots. See, this is why I miss my Mercer account. I was able to make, like, gross jokes like that. It was a lot of fun.
You know, maybe it is good that Twitter is unfunctional.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts yourself?
Do I have any thoughts?
Any thoughts about the Lusty Argonian Simonian?
I think it's like, I mean, it's vaguely misogynistic, but I think that's kind of to be expected of stuff from old video games.
Elaborate on the specific nature of that.
He objectifies the Argonian Maid very much in a way that's kind of like, I know that's sort of standard for like smut writing, but I remember being struck by that in this, the first time I read it, I'm like, this guy very clearly likes the power element of it because this is a maid who works for him. It's not like she can say no.
Yeah, because if you think about like a lot of time, hey, time to take a break from all the silly, funny ha-has. We've had our jokes now, but time to get serious for a minute. Uh-huh. There's always a trope in male power-centric pornography, right? Where not only is it like, oh, this is a maid and she's in a sexy outfit, but I'm in a position of power over her. And to go back to your it's interracial porn, you bigots joke, it is often a white guy and a not white
woman, yeah.
Yeah, that is exoticized to some degree.
Yeah.
I think what this, like, stupid fucking piece of dumb porn, like, prequel
it's not even porn, it's just
let me describe it as right? It does this really good job of, like, deconstructing how fucking stupid all that shit is by just being like, hey, imagine if you were talking about lizard people and did this exact same shit. How dumb would that be?
And that is exactly why I love the Sultry Argonian Bard to transition. Because it's...
I love transition.
Yeah, it's almost exactly the same beat for beat, except it is a gender bend. So the person in the position of power now is this woman who, by the way, the author does not hide the fact that it's a self-insert. It's the same exact name. She doesn't even try to be coy about it, which I love that, like, boldness. But also, like, there's something interesting to me about, like, the inversion of the power fantasy here. It feels more like interesting in the context of Elder Scrolls.
I will say I do think he should have still been called Lifts His Tail and he should have been pegged, but that's neither here nor there. We haven't even gotten into it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? There's how many acts of this, like, maybe he gets pegged in one of them.
Look, I don't think it's possible to be... I feel like the first thing that happens to you when you enter the Bard's College is you get pegged.
Okay.
They ask you very politely, hey, you still want to do this? And you can say no and just walk away from it. But it is the first thing that happens.
So the first thing that happens when you go to the Bard's College is you get hazed, is essentially what happens.
No, first you get handed a waiver form, and then you're explained, like, no, we'll make an evening out of it. It'll be, like, your own comfort.
So it's not hazing, it's consensual.
It's consensual, yeah. Like they give you the option to opt out. It's required. It's required to go there, but they don't just, like, throw you in a room and go, surprise, man! Yeah, that's no good.
No, that's no good at all.
Yeah, that's hazing. This is, pegging doesn't have to be violent.
No, it doesn't. No, of course not.
It can be sweet.
You said college and butt sex, and I immediately thought of hazing, but maybe that's because I just went to the U of A.
Woof.
Dark joke, but...
Woof.
It
would be less dark if they faced any repercussions for all that stuff, but...
Yeah. Anyway.
Whackity schmackity do. We live in hell. We think it's horrifying.
So, the Sultry Argonian Bard only has one volume that's canon. However, in the Beyond Skyrim mod, they added a second volume, and it's actually pretty good.
All right.
So we're going to start with Volume 1, Act 6, Scene 2, continued.
All right. You be the boy, I be the girl.
Yeah, okay. My lady, I could never perform your request.
Oh, is it too fast for you?
I fear that I might damage my instrument.
Ah, but you seem to handle your instrument so well, my darling.
You flatter me, my lady.
Yes, well, it is such a large and magnificent piece. May I hold it?
Goodness, no. The innkeeper would never approve of such a public display.
Then may I suggest a private performance? Perhaps away from the noise of the inn, where we both may enjoy your tremendous talent.
Surely you don't mean for me to accompany you to your room?
Indeed I do, my sweet. Indeed I do.
End of Act 6, Scene 2. So you see how much more self-indulgent it is.
Yeah.
And, like, shameless.
Yeah,
is.
at least she's like, hey, I'm gonna fuck you.
Yeah.
The guy's like, hey, do you want to fuck me? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens. It's kind of great. You see,
Hey, wait, are you coming on at me? Uh-huh. Oh, no.
Yeah.
See, I've been in Croontail's position here before.
That's great. I like this better. I think it's better. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, no, it's funnier, too.
Yeah,
it's
is.
way funnier.
It is way better.
It's always funnier when a dude is, like, getting hit on and he's, like, flustered.
Yeah.
To me. Like, I think that shit's adorable.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think so, too, honestly. I don't know, just the inversion of gender roles tickles my transgender brain. I always love seeing that in anything.
Also, what instruments are there in Skyrim? Because if my knowledge is correct, I can only imagine him, like, trying to shove a lute up this woman.
Yeah, I pictured a lute, but there's also, like, there's flutes, there's drums. Bards, they sometimes play flutes.
One time at Bard Camp?
It has been so long since I've heard one of those jokes.
Oh, I forgot that in Morrowind they have the cock flute.
They do?
It's the flute that's shaped exactly like a dick. So that's probably what he's using on her.
Are you joking?
I'm joking.
Okay, yeah. I'm getting better at recognizing jokes. I didn't play Morrowind for very long, and Morrowind is Morrowind, you know? But anyway, do you want to read the Beyond Skyrim, the modded Volume 2?
Yes, absolutely.
Alright. Act 6, Scene 5, continued. Croontail. My lady, such a risque request you make of me, to enter this hole and perform such a laborious task.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
My darling, this is no standard hole. This hole welcomes you into its recesses. You know this as well as I.
Yes, but such depth this hole has, and its crevices so damp, I fear this may be a hard task for me indeed.
I already have opinions about this, but we'll go.
Okay.
Surely the harder this task becomes, the more fun it shall be.
Oh, my lady, you do flatter me indeed.
You are performing admirably so far, but it is time. Come now, Coontail.
My lady, what if the innkeeper stumbles upon our proclivities?
Perhaps you would like to join us in tackling this hard task.
Surely you don't mean.
Indeed I do, my sweet. Indeed I do.
End of Act 6, Scene 5. What are your opinions on this?
I already have opinions, yeah.
Alright.
I feel like this is lacking in the subtlety we have come to expect.
Yeah, no, it's...
There's no way that this could be innuendo. This is just like, fuck my pussy, and also if my husband comes, he'll shove it in too. It's crass! It's not canon!
No, it's not, but I think that's
I
why
reject it!
I don't know. I admire the effort, but I do want to see what, like, the canon Sultry Argonian Bard Volume 2 is in Elder Scrolls 6, if there is one.
Act 6, Scene 6 is gonna be, just, fuck, oh, fuck, oh. That's all the dialogue.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a shame that they cut it out. Because that's the best part.
Fun little tidbit, by the way. If you go to Solstheim, there's this cave full of Reeklings, and for whatever reason, they have a pile of volumes of the Sultry Argonian Bard Volume 1. Just like a huge fucking pile of them. Like the whole tribe was reading them or some shit. So, yeah, fun little tidbit that you can do if you have the DLCs of this game that is 12 years old. Anyway, I mean, do you have any other opinions on the Sultry Argonian Bard?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
No.
I will say, as a meme, I think that the Lusty Argonian Maid is funnier. Like, obviously, I would prefer a full porn with the vibe that the Sultry Argonian Bard has, but, like, the Lusty Argonian Maid is funnier. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it is. It's a little bit funnier.
Her name is Lifts Her Tail, for fuck's sake. That is so funny.
Yeah, that is pretty great. All right, I mean, I feel good about taking a break here and coming back with another book.
Cool.
And we're back.
Dev, I can't believe that the Lusty Argonian Maid and the Sultry Argonian Bard walked in and started fucking for like 3 hours on the break. It was so awkward. We just had to sit here and like wait.
And just experience this collective hallucination together until it ended.
Yeah, they didn't... They were fucking, but they also like weren't fucking. Like, we knew that what was happening was sexual, but at the same time, like, there was no penetration.
Yeah.
It was like a DeviantArt live action roleplay.
Plus, like, they're both lizards, so it got extra weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're back.
Fans draw nipples on. There aren't nipples.
No, there are. It's just that instead of milk, the breasts carry hist sap. This is actually canon. Yeah, it's...
I thought it was... I thought it was Sobe Life Water.
Oh, you're right. It is Sobe Life Water. Sorry. I got it mixed
How
up.
else could they sell lizard milk?
Yeah, I forgot his sap comes from trees, not lizard titties.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, anyway, yeah.
We're going over now our second ever listener submission. This one comes from The Only Tables. By the way, he's also a YouTuber and a streamer. Links in the doobly-doo. He's very funny. Love him to death. But he asked us to read Withershins, which is it's a book that started in Morrowind. It's been grandfathered into other Elder Scrolls games, much like the Lusty Argonian Maid. So the thing about books in Skyrim is that it's hard to write engaging fiction that is already within a fictional setting. So, like, how can you write something that surprises you in a world where, like, there's already wizards and dragons and demon princes and things like that. And, you know, all these fantasy races, like, it's hard to find ways to, like, genuinely surprise a reader. I think Withershins does a pretty good job of that. It's comedic and it's got kind of an interesting twist at the end. So
on paper, I just kind of disagree with you on that. A lot of my favorite parts of world building in fiction, maybe it's just because I love meta bullshit, but I love stories within stories, especially in, like, video games. There's a lot of really fun stuff where, like, devs will just, like, tell subtext of a video game narrative by, like, just writing a fictional story that has, like, themes in it that are foreshadowing and stuff, and I think it's a medium that a lot of people play around with very well. I will say Skyrim and Elder Scrolls might have a hard time with that.
Yeah, no, we actually do agree. I just made that point in a different way.
Yeah. No, I just, like, Elder Scrolls, I feel like misses the mark on that a lot, but when it's interesting, it's super fucking interesting. And I think it's more just, like, they don't live up to the potential of how weird their world actually is.
Yeah, that's fair, but I mean, it's also worth noting that there's only 8 writers responsible for all of the content, so they can't be 100% on the mark all the time.
Right.
But yeah, this is one of those ones where I feel like they were actually kind of clever about it.
Yeah.
This is the more fucked up Morrowind version, so we're reading the more fucked up Morrowind version.
I've summoned the god of Morrowind.
Yeah, more boomers gonna be in my comments. Anyway,
you know what? I retract what I said earlier. I'll gleefully shit on Morrowind fans.
Yeah, no, they're the most pretentious ones. Like, they say just, like, Skyrim is, like, it holds your hand too much, whatever. I'm like, yeah, okay, but the combat in Morrowind sucks ass. It's got a huge difficulty curve. Like, Skyrim is more accessible, and that's why more people play it.
See, as As a New Vegas fan, I appreciate Morrowind fans for existing, taking the heat of most obnoxious video game likers off of us.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's the other thing about the Elder Scrolls fandom. It's like, it's diverse, but it seems like they're either ultra queers like me, or they're like neo-Nazis, and there's like a whole spectrum in between there.
Yeah, I think that's just something that happens anytime you have anything that
is this
that
big?
draws from Nordic mythology specifically.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in Skyrim, and it's not, well, in Skyrim it is kind of their fault. The Stormcloak narrative was, they didn't really think very hard about that, and
Yeah, there was also a lot of content with the Civil War that got cut out. And so that's why it's also just kind of not engaging, and like the politics of it aren't really developed and they aren't very clear. There's also the fact that like politics are boring. I'm sorry, things are boring. I'm much more interested in like character driven stories. That's why the quest writing in Oblivion is better than Skyrim, in my opinion.
Yeah, everything interesting in Skyrim boils down to, these side characters that have nothing to do with the main conflict politically or big.
Yeah, like the main quests are like the least interesting thing about it, which, is interesting to me. But I think the fact that Skyrim is so unfinished is what gives it like such a special niche for mods and also fan theories. There's a lot of that to kind of like fill in the gaps. And that's one of the things I also like. The world is just so big that you can add whatever you want into it, really. So
such as Thomas the Tank Engine as dragons.
Yeah,
to make the game playable.
Yeah, I love Skyrim. It saved my life, but I will say that Bethesda's business practices are dog shit, and I'll absolutely call them out on that. Making an unfinished game and then relying on the free labor of modders to make it playable is fucked up, and there's no excuse for it.
Skyrim basically showed them, we can just do that forever. And that's what they consistently do, and it kind of, it kind of pisses me off.
And that's why Fallout 76 was such a disaster, and then Microsoft bought them up. And now nobody's talking about Starfield whatsoever, because, like, the fall of Bethesda is imminent. Anyway.
The fall of Bethesda as a developer, but they're, like, publisher. They're a publishing juggernaut right now.
Yeah.
They're, like, Microsoft's big publishing arm. Mm-hmm. They're not going anywhere, but their games suck.
Yeah, well, here's hoping Elder Scrolls 6 is somewhat better.
That's me knocking on wood for your sake.
Okay. I wasn't saying it with any sort of certainty.
Yeah.
I don't have faith in Bethesda.
Yeah, me neither.
I can expect the worst and still hope for the best.
Yeah.
But at the very least, it'll have the Skyrim Grandma in it. Grandma Shirley, I'm happy about that.
There'll probably be a DLC that'll make Fallout canon in Elder Scrolls. That's really what they're gonna do. Let's be honest.
Of all the Bethesda game fan theories, the theory that Fallout and Skyrim are in the same universe is one of the most stupid ones. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not very good. I mean, I respect the desire to connect the two, but like...
Yeah, my joke stems from the fact that they were going to make the Fallout Earth the canon Earth in Starfield. That was going to be a thing, and someone thankfully said that would be fucking stupid and stopped it.
Yeah. Do you want to jump into this book?
I'm kind of putting it off, but yeah, let's go.
So this is Withershins by fictional author Yakut Tawashi. Humorous tale of a man's ailment and cure.
Tawashi these nuts.
All right, said Kazaga. Why don't you want to talk? Zaki put down his mug of mead and just stared at his wife for a few seconds. Finally, grudgingly. Because everything I have a conversation, darling, it flows in alphabetical order. Just like I told you, I think the only way to stop it is to not talk at all. So that's A and B. Couldn't you just be imagining this? Let's see.
Oh, did we explain the...
the dialogue just explained it. I have a conversation, it flows in alphabetical order.
Oh.
Couldn't you just be imagining this? Said Kazaga patiently. It wouldn't be the first time you had an insane paranoid delusion. Remember when you thought the royal battle mage of Blackmarsh was hiding behind every tree with a rape kit intent on making you, a middle-aged, fat, balding tailor, into his personal sex slave? You don't need to be ashamed, but it's Shigarath's way to make us all a little crazy sometimes. If you go to the healer... Damn it, Kazaga, snarled Zaki and stomped out, slamming the door behind him. He nearly collided with Siashat, his neighbor. I want to say, again, this is the more, like, politically incorrect Morrowind version, so just... yeah, some of the stuff in the early games is a little like, why did you think this was a good idea?
Gamers, edgy.
Yeah. This was, what I want to say, like 2001 when this game came out. Excuse me, she said to Zaki's back. He clamped his hands over his ears as he stormed down the street, turning the corner to his tailor shop. His first customer was waiting out front, smiling widely. Zaki tried to keep his temper under control and took out his keys, returning the customer's smile. Fine day, said the young man. Now we're at F. Gods, hollered Zaki, sending the young man flying with a well-placed punch and dashing away. He just yeeted him.
He's just like, God damn it!
Yeah.
It keeps happening! I must react with violence!
See, some of these early tales are kind of funny.
Yeah, these are funny, yeah.
Alright, as much as he hated to admit that Kazaga was right, it was evidently time, once again, for one of the healer's herbal cocktails. Tarsus' temple to health, mental and physical, was several streets north, an impressive obelisk. Halka, the chief herbalist, met him before he came in the hall. How are you today, Suzaki? I need to make an appointment with Tarsus, said Zaki in his calmest voice. Just one moment, let me see how his schedule looks. And we're already H.I.J. Halka said, looking over a scroll. Is this an emergency? Kind of, said Zaki and slapped his head. Why couldn't he say yes, or absolutely, or sure? Let's see, said Halka, frowning. The best I can do is next Midas. Would that work for you? Midas, cried Zaki. I'll be a complete psychotic by Midas. Isn't there anything earlier? He knew what the answer would be before she said it. There was no alternative. In a way, he had forced the response. If only he had kept the conversation going until Y. The letter Y.
Yeah.
L-M. No, said Halka. I'm sorry. Do you want me to make the appointment? Zaki walked away, gritting his teeth. Just fucking leaves. He wandered into the streets, his head down to avoid all conversations, until he looked up and discovered that he had walked all the way to the wharf. A sweet breeze was blowing along the water, and he took several deep breaths until he felt almost normal. When his temper cooled, he could think again. What if this alphabetical conversation wasn't a delusion at all? What if what he felt wasn't paranoia, but acute awareness? He knew it was the classic dilemma. Am I crazy, or is there really something weird going on? Across the road was a shop called Paradox, featuring a display of herbs, crystals, and vapors trapped in orbs. The sign in the window read, Mystical Consultation, Sunrise to Noon. It was worth a shot, though Zaki was dubious. The only people who generally came down to the wharf for healing were stupid adventurers who didn't know any better. Apparently the guys on the roof were really liking this story.
Yeah, their drills were laughing. They also think that it is funny.
Incense burned in copious billows of pink and gold, obscuring and then revealing the clutter within. Gigic death masks glowered down from the walls. Smoking censers hung by chains from the ceiling, and the floor was a maze of bookshelves. At a well-worn table in the back, a small man wearing a headdress was tabulating a young lady's purchases. Okay, said the man. Your total comes to 57 gold pieces. I threw in the restorative scale conditioner for free. Just remember, the candle should be lit only after you invoke Goraflux the Unholy. And Mandrake Root does best in partial shade. See, I really like this because despite the fact that this is set in a fictional world, you can tell this is definitely based on like those metaphysical shops.
Yeah.
And like the actual pseudoscience that goes on in the real world. I love that. Yeah.
You gotta love how even when there is magical healing that is proven to exist, there are still fucking hucksters.
Yeah.
That's another one of my favorite tropes.
Yeah. Oh, and this guy gets so fucking huckstered.
Yeah.
The customer gave a quick, shy smile to Zaki and then left the store. Please help me, said Zaki. Every conversation I hear or get involved in seems to be arranged alphabetically. I don't know if I'm going insane or if there are some kind of bizarre forces at work. To be honest with you, I'm normally a skeptic when it comes to your type of business, but I'm at the end of my rope. Can you do anything to make this madness end? Quite a common problem, actually, said the man, patting Zaki on the arm. When you get to the end of the alphabet, do conversations then go to reverse alphabetical order or start at the beginning of the alphabet? Reverse alphabetical order, said Zaki, and then corrected himself. Damn it! I mean, it starts from the beginning, all over again. I'm in agony. Can you call on the spirits and tell me, am I insane? And here's where the writers had to get very creative with completing the alphabet. It's Q, R, S, T, U, V, etc., W, X, so on and so forth. So they did some interesting things. Sauriki, said the man with a reassuring smile. I don't have to. You're quite sane. Thank you, said Zaki, frowning. By the way, my name's Zaki, not Sauriki. Unusually close, eh? Said the man, patting Zaki on the back. My name's Octoplasm. Follow me, please. I think I have just what you need. Octoplasm led Zaki down the narrow corridor behind the desk. The two men pushed past dusty cabinets filled with strange creatures and liquids, past heaps of Neolithic stones, past stack after stack of moldering leather-bound books, into the dank heart of the store. There he picked up a small, squat cylindrical drum and a book and handed them to Zaki. Vampirism, Daedric Possession, and Withershin Therapy, said Zaki, squinting his eyes to read the book in the gloam. What in oblivion does this have to do with me? I'm not a vampire. Look at this tan. And what's with Withershin Therapy, and how much will it cost me? Withershins, and we're on W, from the old Cyrillic wither signs, which means backwards, said Octoplasm in a serious tone. It's the art of reversing the direction of things in order to gain access to the spirit world and break curses, cure vampirism, and trigger all manners of apotropaic healing. So it's doing a bunch of metaphysical babble here.
Yeah.
You know the story about the guy who was told that slaughterfish live in hot water, so he said, well, let's boil them in cold water? Xenophus, said Zaki instinctively, his brother having taken a rather esoteric upper-level course in Cyrodiilic philosophy as an elective in the Imperial College 31 years before. What a run-on sentence. And immediately wishing he hadn't. And what do you do with the cylindrical thingy? Octoplasm lit a candle and held the object over it so Zaki could see more clearly. All along the cylinder were narrow slits, and when Zaki peered within them, he saw a succession of old black and white drawings of a naked man leaping over boxes, one frame after the next. So it's one of those, what's the thing that spins?
It's oh my gosh, I know the word for this. It's
it starts with a Z, right?
It's a zoetrope, I think.
Zoetrope, yeah, that's what it is.
I think that's what it's called.
Well, it's said right.
Yeah. I was just flexing a little bit of knowledge that I fucking do that off the dome. I can't read, so.
So now we're.
I guessed it before we saw it.
Yeah, we've survived X. Now we're on to Y. You spin it like so, said Octoplasm, slowly whirling the device clockwise, so the man within leapt over the boxes over and over again. It's called a zoetrope. Pretty neat, eh? Now you take it and start spinning it counterclockwise, and while you're doing it, read this incantation I've marked in the book. Zaki took the zoetrope and began spinning it counterclockwise over the candle, so the little naked man within seemed to bound backwards over the boxes. It took a little coordination and concentration to keep whirling at a steady pace, but gradually the man's awkward and jerky back jumps became more and more fluid, until Zaki could no longer see the individual frames flipping. It looked just like a little humanoid hamster on an endless verse treadmill. While he continued to spin the zoetrope with one hand, Zaki took the book in the other and read the underlined passage. Zoetrope counterspin, counterspin, counterspin. Pull my life from the rut that it's in. I invoke the goddesses Boethia, Kinnereth, and Drysis to invert my potentially metaphysical crisis.
Why does that sound like a new wave lyric?
It does. My old life may have been rather pointless and plain. But I dislike the prospect
of going insane. It's an Oingo Boingo song. Jesus.
Make the pattern reverse by this Withershin zoetrope counterspin, counterspin, counterspin. So that's the little thing. Anyway, as he chanted the spell, Zaki noticed that the little naked man in the zoetrope began to look more like himself. The mustache vanished and the hairline receded. The man's waistline expanded and the buttocks sagged to the shape and texture of half-inflated balloons. Scales approximating his own Argonian pattern appeared. The man began to trip as he bounded backward over the boxes, taking bigger breaths and sweating. By the time Zaki reached the end of the incantation, his twin was clutching his chest and tumbling end over the boxes in freefall. Octoplasm took the zoetrope and the book from Zaki's hands. Nothing seemed to have changed. No thunder had rumbled, no winged serpents had sprung out of Zaki's head, no fiery explosions. Zaki felt that something was different. Good different. Normal. At the counter, when Zaki pulled out his satchel of gold pieces, Octoplasm merely shook his head. Our treatment radical, such of effects term long, the what sure be can't we, naturally. Charge no. Feeling the first real relief he had felt in days, Zaki walked backwards out of the shop and down the road to his shop. So he...
he did reverse the curse.
Yeah, he tried a pseudoscientific remedy, and it made things worse in a different way. What a surprise. What a shock.
It's going to be real weird for him to go back into his dad's dick.
What's Kazaga gonna say when he gets home? He's gonna be like, I'm normal, and she's gonna be like...
Normal I'm!
Yeah, not your no. That's what she's gonna say. Anyway, that's Withershins. It's a clever little anecdote, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of enjoyable. You find books like this occasionally in Skyrim with clever little anecdotes. Thief of Virtue is fun. Chance's Folly is another fun one. What's A Game at Dinner is a really good one, too. Horror of Castle Share. There's a lot of good books in Skyrim. You'd be surprised. But they're not, like, great fiction. They're just, like, little fable, parable type things.
Yeah.
They're written in a humorous voice like this one, so...
Yeah, I like those little flavor some of them in Skyrim are just, like, lore dumpy.
Yeah.
And those I don't care for, but, like, these little neat little stories.
Yeah. No, there's some fun books in there.
That's my favorite Daedric prince, by the way. The guy who just fucks with people. Shigarath, yeah.
Or Sheogorath, I guess.
Sheogorath is really funny.
Yeah, no, he's got some...
I'm imagining that it is him writing this.
Yeah. He would.
Yeah.
Fun little fact about the Shigarath quest in Skyrim is that there's another Shigarath quest that was unfinished and they ditched entirely, but it's still accessible if you no-clip out of the area where you do the Shigarath quest. And it's like, it seems like they tried to do something with a dungeon where you get shrunk down.
Yeah.
And like suddenly everything's a lot bigger. It's actually kind of creepy, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah. Fun.
Yeah, that kind of vibes with the Alice in Wonderland. Kind of approach they were taking in Skyrim specifically.
Yeah. I mean, there is there's a thread of that with Shigarath, like the Shivering Isles DLC in Oblivion. Kind of, it is a bit of like an Alice in Wonderland thing where you go into this other world and like everybody in there is their own like distinct flavor of insane.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of fun as a quest. I haven't finished it all the way, but it's a lot of fun to go around and like talk to every individual in there. Yeah, Oblivion's good. Skyrim's good. Anyway.
Well, Oblivion's good, and Skyrim's a video game.
Yeah. I think it's good, and I could give a thesis on that, but whatever, So, any pluggables or final thoughts or anything?
Well, some final thoughts. I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah, we're going to be doing Pala next, which I'm really excited for. That's one of my favorite ones. So, as always, we'd like to thank Arya for the use of our theme music. You can find her card, a link to her card down below. Check out her stuff. She's great. If you can, please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell if you're on another platform, subscribe or leave a review. Really helps the show out. We would appreciate it. And
we had a huge bump in traffic from the Halloween episode and Behind the Paint, so we just want to say... If y'all are sticking around now, hi, thank you so much. And hopefully this is fun too.
Yeah, and thank you for listening to those episodes. Those were the two that we kind of worked the hardest on. So yeah.
I'm not going to say it's all downhill from here, but we're definitely plateauing a little bit. Yeah. And that I'm comfy with that.
Yeah. Well, I've been wanting to do Elder Scrolls Week for a long time, or Elder Scrolls Month, I mean. It is Skyrim Month. November 11th is the anniversary.
Yeah. I feel like you've been preparing for this, in a way, for your whole life.
Yeah.
Because
everything in my life led me to this moment.
Yeah. Dev, this is stuff that you've just been kind of wanting to like just talk about in general, even before we did this show. I know you talked about that earlier, but it's fun to like finally sit down and dig into this shit with you. as somebody who has no fucking patience for
and
words on a screen when I'm playing a video game where you click a button to shoot fireballs, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I've, by the way...
That's my fault, though.
Bonus content, check it out if you want to hear all of my hot takes on The Real Baron Zaya, because my hot take is that it's good, and I have a whole thesis prepared for it. So, or if you don't like listening to that stuff, but you do need something to help you sleep at night, I've been told I have an ASMR voice, so by all means... go ahead. Also, please subscribe to the Patreon if you like the show. Really helps out. We've got bonus episodes on there, some behind the scenes of the Jeff the Killer episode. We've got the follow-up to Sonic Stasia Blue Steel, which gets pretty rowdy.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm also going to be posting some thumbnails of future chapters of my webcomic if you're interested in seeing how that's going to continue. We're on hiatus for a year. But, yeah, it would really help to support my content. I'm also starting National Novel Writing Month, and I should be very soon finding out how I placed in that literary contest, and you should be able to read the submission that I did for that as well. So that's kind of everything that I've got going on at the moment. Joan, what do you got going on?
Well, I've begun streaming more regularly. You can follow me twitch.tv/JoanTunes. I draw cartoons and stuff that you can link down in the doobly-doo with all of the places where I post my art. And, yeah, that's basically what I have going on for me.
Yeah.
Next year, I'm going to start conceptualizing stuff for game.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the bulk of what I stream, I think, in 2024. If that seems interesting to you, then go do me there. Don't do me there. I don't know why I said it like that, but you know.
Yeah, links to everything that we've mentioned in the description. Check it out if you enjoy this content, if you want to see more of what we've got going on.
And see ya, Space Cowboy.
Yeehaw!